G'day everyone, Brian here. The mallet challenge. Never made a mallet before, no idea what I'm doing, but we'll give it a crack. Rummage through the old pile. Got some wood, don't know what it is, but handle, mallet. Again, don't know what it is, but it's pretty heavy and might use a bit of this for the inlay. Cutting some wood here to get things started, lining them up on the miter saw, measuring. Come to the wood I want to use for the mallet itself, trim off to give myself a straight edge. Again with the measuring, make sure it's right. I've set the miter saw to 7 degrees at this point, and here with the 3 bits, wow, that's a big looking mallet. Probably a bit big. We'll measure it, it's too big. So we'll throw out the bit I was going to use as an inlay and just go with these 2 bits of hardwood. Turned out I really needed to keep that other bit. It's a no-name plane that I'm using here, just trying to shave off some, all the edges really, and smooth out a piece of wood. Check square, it's rough, but it's a start. Shaping up the handle a bit and smoothing it off at night. And now to cut and trim the handle. Making sure we've got something for the handle to slide into the mallet. Here I'm trying to cut straight. I've learnt that I'm not real good at cutting straight. This was an exercise in frustration, which I then went to a chisel. Didn't work so well either. Drilling some holes so I can saw down for the wedge to slide into. Got the belt sander out to just try to smooth up the wedge after hacking away at it with a pretty dodgy chisel. And while I'm out, use that on the handle to smooth around the sharp edges, turn a square bit into a rounded bit. Using a miter saw to rip wood. It worked here, it didn't work later on, so not keen to do this too often. But it did tidy it up nicely. Having unplugged the saw, it's now time to cut the groove for the handle to slide into, or the channel, or whatever the proper term is. Measure it up, make sure everything's right, looking good there. And here we go. I've learnt that I can set a stop on the miter saw, so that was a real find. Should have practiced a little more with it, but we'll get to that. Got that done. Just hack out the bits that are there, so then I can smooth over and have a relatively smooth place for the handle to slide into. Put them together, they kind of match up, which is good, but just a little trimming. Checking the handle in the channels, and again, it kind of fitted and kind of didn't, but I thought I was off to a good start. Just a little tidy up here, and nice and snug. There we go. It's on the way. I found a better chisel and hacked away a bit more to smooth out the, well, my very not straight saw cutting from earlier. And if you like that vise, you can watch this video to see how I restored Grandpa's vise. We've got to be happy with that. I'm happy enough. Again with the chisel, just to smooth out those channels. What is the right word? Check it. Check it again. Check it a third time. And see, okay, there's still a little bit more to cut away to make it work. Why? I think so hard. Yes, I'd cut too deep, and now that bit that I was going to throw away, I need to keep, because it's time for take 2. on the mallet. So here we are, next day. I've got that bit that I threw out, or that I wasn't going to use, and I tidy it up. I measure, I trim, and using the miter saw to cut away at what is the waste part was tremendously satisfying. And then hack away to get the waste material out. Again, tremendously satisfying. Obviously my camera work isn't the best that it could be at this point, which is frustrating to look back on. Put the bits together. How do they go? Do they line up all right? Just a little and careful tidy up here. And I checked and checked and checked just to make sure I wasn't taking off a full blade width, but just shaving it. Just a real slice, a small, well, not even a slice, but just enough to even things up. Got the handle out, put the bits together. Feels pretty good. Obviously there's a bit of material that needs to come away still. Maybe a bit tight there. And so back again carefully with the trimming, and slides in nicely now. So the three bits have come together and we're ready. Looking good. It looks like a mallet.
That'll do for today.
That's enough for today. So a quick tidy up and I'm done. Gluing up the pieces was fun, and I learnt an important lesson here. I wonder if you'll be able to spot the error. Glue on both sides, spread it round with the silicone spatula, bring the pieces together, clamps at the ready. And it's here that I learn that when you start to put the pressure on with the clamp, it can slide around a bit. I wasn't prepared for that at all. So I had one clamp on, doing my best to hold it tight. Well, look at that. It's just all over the place. Get the next clamp on, push it together, try to tidy it up. I think if I'd started with the bottom right at the edge of the workbench, it would have helped. I realise it's lifting at that end, so I'll need to get the third clamp on there as well. Wipe away the glue. And it's looking pretty solid. But I can mess that up too. The next morning, I come out, I tried to put the handle in and it got jammed in there. That was annoying, so now I needed to try and pull the handle out so I could tidy things up. And because I shoved the handle in, I had moved the top parts of the mallet a bit. Anyway, got it apart, got the sander out to remove some of the pencil marks, cutting the wedge. Tried to do that on a miter saw, that ended very badly. So got the little saw out and there we go. Feeling pretty confident at this point. I've got the glue out onto the handle, or the part that goes in, mortise, tenon, the pointy bit. Spread it, spread some inside, and hammer it in. It was satisfying that it didn't break apart. There we go. And now we're ready to put the wedge in. So again, glue, spread, hit it, and there it goes. Why? Why? Why do I learn these things the hard way? Oh well. We'll go and cut another wedge from different wood. That done, Hammered that one in as gently as I can. Broke another bit, but got the job done. And there it is. So again, out with the pull saw to trim off the sticky outy bit. That's done, but the saw did eat into the top of the mallet. I'll do a little. Out with the new sander. Wants to take off. First time I've tried using an orbital sander like this, but I got the old stain off nicely.
That's what it was.
Old,
That's what it is.
new.
I wanted to take
Old,
the off.
new. Get some finer grit on it up to the 240, just to make it smooth. Handle, just to round it off a little more. And here again, I'm just tidying up the top to trim the edge. I do have a sawdust catcher bag that goes there. I'm not sure it catches a whole lot though. And there it is. It looks all right. Come with me and we'll see what happens next. A little wander through the backyard, but you've got to be careful where you step in our backyard. So let's wander over here so we can put something on the wood to make it look magnificent. Final sanding, just to take the sharp edges off. I've learnt watching other videos about the importance of rounding the edges, and while the little block plane might do that even better, I don't have one of them, and this just took the sharp edge off, and then the battery died. So let's put on some boiled linseed oil. Let's open that lid. Come on, Brian, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it, Brian. Squeeze it. Squeeze the right part of the lid. Come on, man. How hard is it to open a bottle? Seriously? Open the bottle. Ah, there we go. Righto, let's try again. Let's put on some boiled linseed oil. I've heard other people say how satisfying it is when you put the stain or oil or whatever on the wood, and for the first time, I reckon, I really felt it here. It just changed its colour, its shine, its sheen. It felt great and looked pretty good too. So there's my mallet. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll look forward to using it and see what it can do. Thanks for watching.